Mr. Chairman, just exciting moment. We're brimming. We're
Yep.
brimming with excitement.
Yep.
It's really an unbelievable timeline that we're living in.
Yeah.
You've been on the show for years, Mr. Chairman, like saying that this might be what happens if we get Trump elected. You've got to be whistling Dixie this morning.
Well, yeah, it is an exciting time, and we've never seen a president with this kind of focus, intensity, just this kind of effort to just do what he told the voters he was going to do, whether it's Elon Musk working for the president on this Doge effort and identifying all the ridiculous spending or the things you're talking about. But this is a great idea. How about the leaders of these cities, instead of being sanctuary cities, you actually have a mayor who's going to stop the crazy crime that takes place in all our major urban areas, who's going to focus on helping the citizens with their better education system and everything else. How about people like that? I think that's what President Trump wants, versus, oh, we're going to be a sanctuary city. We're going to not comply with federal law enforcement who are executing the law. We're going to be try to stop them and prevent them from doing their job. I think that's the kind of focus that people want, and frankly, people in those cities want. And President Trump is trying to help make that come about.
Yes. So, okay. Something that we haven't gotten to on the show just yet is the news that President Trump has fired now all Joe Biden federal prosecutors. These are some of the people who've been a major thorn in your paw, leading the Judiciary Committee. Your take on this? It's got to be welcome, but I don't think we've ever seen action like this before. Certainly not in Trump's first term.
Well, this is real basic. We want a Justice Department that actually gets back to the fundamental principle: equal treatment under the law. We don't want a Justice Department like we had under the Biden-Garland administration, where they're political. And we know Jack Smith was totally political. We know what was going on with some of the political prosecutions of folks on January, who were here on January 6th, who may have inadvertently stepped across some line and then they get prosecuted. So we know that kind of attitude out there. And what I think President Trump and the people at the Justice Department are doing is saying, no, we're going to focus on equal treatment under the law, applying the law the way it's supposed to be applied, not politics. And that is welcome. And frankly, that's what the American people voted for, because they saw how political that place had become, and the lawfare activity against the guy who was our nominee for president, who got 77 million votes and is now president of the United States, against President Trump. And so I think it's welcome by the people, and a good thing for following our Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, Pam Bondi, very much like a wrecking ball. Did you hear the reports that she tore down portrait of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris?
I did.
And what was it, Merrick Garland, right?
Yeah.
That she personally did that. There's now multiple credible reports that she did it herself and stacked them in the trash.
The other thing is, the first day on the job, she issues a memorandum, and the second page of that memorandum, she's talked about this committee to look at the weaponization of government, and particularly the Justice Department. And she goes bullet point by bullet point, and it's all things we had been focused on and investigating over the last Congress. And it was so refreshing. In fact, I told Pam that. I said, this is so good, that memorandum you put out and the intensity and focus you are bringing to equal treatment under the law, again, is exactly what the American people wanted.
So the criticism of this is going to be, oh, you can't take away all the prosecutors. What will happen? Who will prosecute the crime? They've been doing the same thing with the FBI, right? With the of the elimination of those individuals who, as you mentioned, January 6th, were going after innocent Americans. What's the counterbalance to that, right? Because that's the open criticism right now.
Yeah, the FBI. Take the FBI for an example, Benny. About $12 billion budget at the FBI. More than half of that money is spent on counterintelligence, intelligence, surveillance. I mean, basically, looking and surveilling the American people. More than half of the budget, half the personnel. I think the American people would kind of like an FBI that's probably focused more on traditional crime, but organized crime, gang activity, money laundering, all the stuff that we typically think the FBI's child exploitation, everything else, focusing on stopping that stuff versus spying on the American people. So that's, I think, the kind of focus you're going to see from Kash Patel when he gets confirmed and heads the FBI. That's what we want, and that's what I think American people want. So that's the change that I think needs to take place and is going to take place under Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, who will be Deputy Attorney General, and of course Kash Patel at the FBI.
I think that the changes shook quite a few people. We weren't expecting the Letitia James gets suit by the Justice Department on like day 3. We weren't expecting that, and It's like refreshing, actually, because sanctuary states are illegal. I mean, they should be illegal, right? Like you don't have a right to just defy federal law. You can't just do that. You just
Nope.
choose. You're not gonna. There's no First Amendment here, right? It's like
No.
we're Oregon. Like that's not how it works, actually.
Yeah, and the situation that I think both Tom Homan and Pam Bondi have talked about, where it looks like sometimes people are tipping off the bad guys, the people with a criminal background who Tom Homan is coming in to rightfully repatriate out of the country, repatriate back to their home country. And they're getting tipped off in it. And I think Tom Homan said it looks like it may have been an FBI agent who did that. Well, you can't do that. That's like helping the bad guys when and endangering law enforcement members potentially. So that when you're doing these kind of things, I think criminal prosecution should be something that's definitely in play.
And it wouldn't be treason, like you're acting against federal law enforcement and you're helping out the criminals. It's like crazy.
You're not supposed to help the bad guys, and if you do, you're probably in trouble. And we should probably prosecute people who do those things.
All right, let's talk about your potential prosecutions. Let's talk about your potential investigations. What do we have coming up on the Judiciary Committee? It's a target-rich environment, I think we'd call it.
Yeah. Well, one thing on the censorship front, we think we've had a huge impact there in stopping big government and big tech and other federal government agencies and universities all working together, what Michael Schellenberger called the censorship industrial complex. We think we've really scaled that back into protecting the First Amendment. But right now what's happening is in foreign countries, they're using their laws to pressure tech companies to censor Americans. And so we're going to see if there's a way we can put some pressure on these foreign countries to, one example would be if you're involved in any way censoring Americans, you shouldn't be able to get a visa and come to the country. If you're one of these foreign dignitaries who likes to come to the United States, everyone likes to come here. So that's a piece of legislation one of our members has that we'll look at passing. And then on the oversight thing, we still think there's a look back that needs to happen with David Weiss, who was going to give the sweetheart deal to Hunter Biden. We still think we don't have answers on, who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, who leaked the Dobbs opinion, who put cocaine at the White House, for goodness sake. I think the American people like to know those things. And they'd also like to know about what the Garland Justice Department was doing when they said, if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're an extremist, or if you're a mom and dad at a school board meeting, we're going to investigate you. So we're going to look back at all that stuff and get answers for the American people.
I'd love to get an answer on something that crossed our timeline. Some of your colleagues, Tom Tillis in the Senate, was actually in front of an ad. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. He was in front of an ad that had an X over Elon Musk, and it said, "We must eliminate Elon Musk." We'll pull up the ad here and we'll pop it up on screen because it was, I thought, there's no way. Here it is. There's no way. It's like, it's got to be a meme, right? But no, it's real. And here's your colleague, Republican in the Senate, saying, this is allegedly, we're looking into who's funding this, but like help eliminate Elon Musk with a cross over his face and a USAID logo on the bottom. And this is being, of course, you can't just advertise. Somebody has to approve these advertisements.
Right.
Who's approving these advertisements exactly? It looks like an open threat against a member of the administration. This is insane.
Yeah. Again, Democrats will attack the guy who's exposing the stupid spending instead of trying to stop the stupid spending. It makes no sense to me. And they're over the last 2 weeks, it's been one theme, one message from the Democrats: go after Elon Musk, even though the president told us, as we've said before, told us that when he was running for the job, I'm going to have Elon Musk head up this Doge group who's going to go through agency by agency in the federal government, identify stupid things we're spending taxpayer money on. And when he identifies those things, the Democrat says, "Oh, we got to get rid of Elon Musk." What? That makes no sense. I think, again, we're the party of common sense, as the president always says. I think the American people see this as good common sense governance and are not going to be supportive of the left who continues to attack Elon Musk. I think he's doing the Lord's work. I know he did when he bought Twitter. Remember what he said when he bought Twitter? He said, I didn't spend $44 billion to buy Twitter. I spent $44 billion to save the First Amendment and free speech, for goodness sake. And he's been an integral part of the effort to protect the First Amendment. And now he's going to try to protect us from having these bureaucrats who think they're smarter than you and I and all your viewers and listeners, think they're smarter than the rest of us, protect us from the stupid things they want to spend our money on.
So it'd be nice. It'd be nice to close down the government caves. Didn't know that feds on tricycles in limestone caves was how retirements were processed. Did you know that, Congressman?
I did not know that.
It's an exciting thing that we learned this week.
I didn't know we were spending money for some trans comic perform opera or whatever in Ireland. I didn't know we were spending money to put Bert and Ernie and Big Bird on Baghdad TV. And you're like, what the heck?
It's true.
What the heck? It's crazy.
It's true.
But no, it's not that. That's not the problem. The problem is Elon Musk. That makes no sense. No sense to the folks I get the privilege of representing in the 4th District of Ohio. They're on Elon Musk's side.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, but since we name dropped it, if you would please allow us, here's a photo of the special tricycles. These are tricycles that the feds drive around. They ride around on them all day. We pay them salaries and then massive retirement pensions to ride around on tricycles all day inside of the caverns of an old limestone man to handle retirement paperwork by hand and store them in boxes. This is what we pay for in the era of AI.
Go figure.
Okay.
Go figure. Yeah.
In conclusion, we did hear from somebody I know that you're very close with, James Comer and Anna Paulina Luna, this past week. They've both been on the program, and then we covered live their announcement of sort of a massive declassification operation. I'm sure you're in favor of that. You've often been on the show talking about it. Can you give us kind of an update? Is this even something that is feasible? You've held up the black line paper before. You've come on the program and held up like these just black ink blots. Look, what's to give us any hope that we'll be able to punch past that?
I think the main hope is in the White House. President Trump has indicated he wants the American people to have transparency and understand what happened with some of these situations with the tragic assassination of JFK and other issues. So let's get the facts out there. If our government has information, we're going to work with in the area of the Justice Department. We're going to work with Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, and Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, and Cash to get information on things, as I said before, that we think the American people still have questions about. So we want to get those answers, and the same with Chairman Comer and Representative Anna Paulina Luna. They want to get answers to the American people. So the more you can focus in on it. I mean, we're seeing this with Elon Musk. There have been organizations who've highlighted the stupid spending in the past. Citizens Against Government Waste has done good work over the last 40 years, highlighting the pork book and all the stupid spending. But when you have an intense focus, and it was an element of the campaign in a presidential race, that's when you can really highlight it and you get the media attention and the focus of the American people. That's when you can make a difference. So any effort that adds to the attention and focus on an issue helps us get the answers. And that's what Chairman Comer and Representative Anna Paulina Luna are up to.
Don't understand it. I say it probably once a show. Why does our federal government spend so much time and resources protecting pederasts? I don't get it, Mr. I don't. This is Jeffrey Epstein. He was found guilty of these things. Yet we spend all of these resources protecting the client list and everybody who was involved. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just a dumb Midwesterner, So I guess I don't.
You got common sense. Common sense. That's what you are from the
Midwest.
Midwest.
Asking too many questions.
Yeah.
That's right. Everybody needs, obviously, if you're not already following Jim Jordan, you're crazy, okay? You're living in one of the limestone caves where the government does its retirement. And you're also, by following Jim Jordan, who has more followers than us on X, very humbling, 6 million followers on X, you're missing out on the man who actually saved Facebook from itself. And it's something that we haven't gotten a chance to thank you for live.
Thank you.
Mark Zuckerberg specifically citing your investigation into Facebook and censorship, saying this is why we've decided to destroy all of our censorship policies because of Jim Jordan. And so thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thanks for all the good work you do.
All right. Godspeed.